Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 1090 Jake, man. I'm rocking with y'all like y'all rocking with me. I got another guest for y'all today. Go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
Hey, man, 1090, man. I'm rocking with you, man. You already know, man. They call me Flyway, man. Everybody in prison know me as Juny, man. I'm originally from Puerto Rico, so I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. But, I've been a Florida boy for a little minute. You feel me? Since nigga been like 12.
I feel you. And me and you, we actually met inside of prison. We met at Lancaster CI. But before we jump into that, what was it that got you to prison, and how many years did you have to do inside of the Florida Department of Corrections?
So basically, when I was like 19 years old, I was going through some situations in life, I was rocking with my first baby mama. Situations got desperate, so I got on some Xanax, don't do Xanax for the people out there, I got on them bars and I went inside a gas station and robbed that shit barefaced. So, then, I went to the jailhouse, went through the whole little thing, I was stressing like a bitch. I ain't even gonna cap, bro, because the nigga did the whole time, bro, in confinement, you feel me? Hillsborough County Jail. I don't know anybody ever been to Hillsborough County Jail in Tampa, Florida. Mm-hmm. But the box, man, that ain't where it's at. You feel me? They got you locked down 24/7, no bunkie, no nothing. You feel me? Like cold slab. They got the AC running 24/7, just whole torture. You feel me? So I was going through a lot of things, and mentally and stuff like that. So I had a couple bunkies, talking through the vent. You know how I be talking through the vent, playing chess through the vent, somebody I had told them a little bit about the situation. So they were like, hey man, you feel me, like Jit, you feel me, you should apply for that YO sentence. Cause you know how them POs, you know how them public defenders be, you feel me, they public pretenders. They ain't really trying to do shit for a nigga. So I had to step up and be like, man, I need this YO sentence, you feel me? Luckily, my judge used to be my juvenile judge. By the time I had caught that charge, she had transferred from juvenile to adult. So she was very familiar with me. So when I brought up the juvenile offenders sentence, she was very quick to give it to me. So, making a long story short, yeah, I caught 4 years in prison, 2 years in probation for armed robbery.
Okay. And are you originally, you grew up in Tampa?
I'm gonna keep it real, bro. My family, bro, I was raised, I was raised by a single mother, you feel me? Mm-hmm. My mother, shout out to my mother right now. She's doing a lot of big things. She's living out in Hollywood, California. She got a podcast too, she does a lot of spiritual healing. But back in the days, she used to strip. She used to be a stripper, So I never really lived in a stable home. I've always been from city to city. I've lived in Orlando. I've lived in Kissimmee. I've lived in Tampa, Florida. But I'm a Florida boy, at heart, you feel me? So
yeah, definitely. I feel you on that. And which judge was it that you got in court?
Ashley Moody, bro. Right now, she's the state attorney for Florida.
That was my judge, bro, Moody. That's who sent me to prison.
Trying to take, hey, low key, she with that baby, man. She don't be trying to bail nothing. You feel me?
Yeah, I mean, bro, when she sentenced me, she looked at me, she's like, I'm sorry, I gotta do this. I'm just looking at her like, it's straight, it is what it is. I did it, so fuck it. But damn, so now, when you went to prison, being that you did the majority of your county time in confinement, how was it for you? Were you affiliated on the street, or did you become affiliated inside of prison?
All right, so I was not affiliated when I was on the street. I was born a Latin King prince. So you can say that I was affiliated, My dad is a Latin King from New York, bloodline, But I never took the initiative, on the street because I didn't have the right guidance, My father, he was in New York, I was raised by my mother, But I always had it in my heart, I've always rocked it on the street, So, when I went to prison, I started rocking with the bros. But I didn't completely get right until I got into adult camp. So we'll get into that.
Okay. And being that you were technically unaffiliated, but somewhat affiliated, how was it for you when you hit the Central Florida Reception Center? Did you link up immediately? Were there any of your brothers there? Or were you just rocking with whoever was there from the city?
when I first got to Central Florida Reception Center, I'm gonna keep it real, bro. Like my mentality, bro, I had just got out of doing 8 months in confinement, bro. You know what I'm saying? I had lost so much weight. I was like 135 soaking wet, you know what I'm saying? So my whole mind, you know what I'm saying, my first baby mama had stopped fucking with me. So my mindset wasn't right, you know what I'm saying? So I came out like a straight little savage, bro, on some straight ratchet shit, bro. Because you know what I'm saying, my emotions, everything I was going through. So when I first got there, bro, like, you know what I'm saying, I linked up with a bro. There was a bro inside the dorm and shit, you know what I'm saying? He had shit on lock. He had a locker full of like porn magazines. He had Tunechi on deck, you feel me? He had cell phone, this and that. But for some reason, like I was, you know what I'm saying, I was only with him for like a week and then he went to the confinement. So next thing you know, I was in the dorm by myself, the only person like, you know what I'm saying, really rocking with the Kings like that. So, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna keep it real, you feel me? Because, you know, you my nigga, and, you know what I'm saying, it's all about respect, you feel me? When I first got there, bro, you know what I'm saying, the niggas that really ran down on me first, bro, was the Olas, you feel me? Mm-hmm. They ran down on me first about a whole like situation, like, you know what I'm saying, we was, you know how it is at reception center, how you march to breakfast early in the morning, it be dark in a bit, you feel me?
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying, I was leading the line, you feel me? So I'm walking, you feel me? I guess I wasn't walking to niggas' satisfaction, you feel me? Like fast enough so nigga wanna try to like say something, you feel me? So he disrespected like something about my nation, you feel me? So I doubled back and I did the same thing. So we got into it. When we went back to the dorm, I went upstairs, you know what I'm saying? Cause you know how the doors they roll automatically, you feel me? Through the boat. So I went in there, you know what I'm saying? Like when I went in there, I showed them I wasn't scared. I was like, man, tie up, you feel me? But I guess, you know what I'm saying, I was kind of like, I wasn't making a scene, but to them, they felt like I was making a scene. So they, you know what I'm saying, they ain't really doing nothing at that time. But when I woke up early in the morning, I woke up motivated, but I wanted to fight, you feel me? So I basically lined up like 4 of your brothers, you feel me? One, like the 2 of them, I fought through. The third one came in there through. By that time, I was kind of tired, but they seen I was, you know what I'm saying, I was still fighting, you feel me? But they came and lashed me. They came in that big, woo, feel me? Came in that big, lashed me real quick, you feel me? After that, the sergeant, you know how recession is. Back in the G, bro, when I first got there, it was early 2013, bro. No cameras in prison, ain't none of that, bro. So you going through it in the dorm, bro. You ain't finna go to the box. You finna just get your ass whooped by, you know what I'm saying? You finna get your ass whooped by the motherfucking police in the motherfucking mock closet, and they're gonna send you about your way back into the dorm, right back to the jungle. So that's exactly what they did. They beat my ass, send me back in there. After that, I was straight, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? I did like another 2-3 weeks until you know what I'm saying, I finally went to Lake Button.
Were you at CFIC when Bone was there?
That was the brother that was in the dorm with me, Bones. Shout out to my brother Bones.
Man, shout out to Bones, man. Listen, right? You know Bones
he got the cocky eye, right?
Yeah, he blinded one eye, but you know he cocky as fuck. Big as hell. Yeah, like to work out. Bro, listen. It was him, a GD, and a Neutron from Jacksonville. I locked down with them. Because me, Bone, and the GD, we used to sweep up and we used to do the TOHs because you know that one officer that was a king?
He had the tattoo.
Okay, so he used to let us press all the new jits when they came in. It would be me and Bone in the mop closet and we would press whoever came in and flip them right then and there. And either they break it off or they good, you feel me? But I locked down with Bone, the GD, and the cut, and Bone was like, hey, bro, you got to get your TOH. I'm talking about, bro, we go at it for like 2 seconds. Bone had me yoked up like this. I can't move. I'm laid out on the floor, stretched out, beating my shit. I'm talking about the whole time we were locked down, though. So, you know, this is like 30 minutes or an hour. So when I came out, I'm talking about my whole stomach, ribs, and chest, like, you can see all the blood under my skin busted up. He was like, you gonna break it off? You gonna break it off? I said, yeah, I break it off. The second he let me go, I hit his ass. Boom! They went to flipping me again. But we was cool as shit, though. You feel me? It was just on some shit like, you gotta get one to give one. You feel me?
Yeah, it's just on that type of time, man. I don't know who you with, bro. You gotta get a TOH eventually, bro. Even if you cool and nigga fuck with you, bro. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get that bitch.
Got to, but hey, shout out to Bone though, man. I gotta get back in contact with bro. Now, how was the transition from Central Florida reception to Lake Butler? Because to me, Butler was a whole nother animal than Orlando.
Man, it was just like, it was just very crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because as soon as we went in there, like, you know how it is, go on the way there on the bus, the things that they tell you. Oh, you know, Lake Butler was one of the first prisons in Florida, you know, from the 1970s, 60s. So, and they going on the way there with that whole mentality. And then, you know how us Jits, they had us at I block, you feel me? And that legit going with the whole metal bars, with the whole, you know what I'm saying, yard, you know what I'm saying, with rats in your cell, you know what I'm saying, niggas got rats as pets and birds as pets, you know what I'm saying, so it was just like, it was really like, you know what I'm saying, like what the fuck, and then I ain't gonna lie, bro, the police was not playing, 2013, they were not playing at Lake Butler, bro, at all, playing no games, you were liable to get killed, bro, fuck around and bucking, and doing other shit, you know what I'm saying? Other people be doing it, other prisons and shit, bro. You would have got killed, bro. You would have got stoned to death with some boots, bro. And you know that because you've been there. Because I remember me and you was politicking and chopping it up about that like not too long ago. And I went to thinking, you know what I'm saying? I was actually in Lake Butler that day, bro. When that happened to you, we was in the same dorm and everything. I was there. Because I remember, if I remember correctly, we was either going to rec or child. And you was
you were there when I got cut?
Yes, I was there, but I didn't personally see it.
Oh, we were going to child.
Yeah, something like that. I just know that you was coming down the stairs and somebody got you. You know what I'm saying? And then I remember like later on that day or the next day you had the cut and me and you was having a conversation about something. You feel me? Because I remember how the cut was fresh and it was like barely touching your tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I think we had like a quick conversation about something, you know what I'm saying? And then after that, you know what I'm saying, you know what it is.
So how was it for you, you know, being at Butler? Butler is like the projects. It's crazy as shit. The COs are crazy. They're in your face. But it still isn't an actual youth offender compound. How was it for you when you hit Lancaster?
When I hit Lancaster, it was like a whole, it was crazy because, you know what I'm saying, like, when I first hit Lancaster, it was just like you could feel the tension in the air. You could feel that it was a whole nother environment. I was at Lake Butler. Lake Butler was, yeah, you know, so you could tell that it's a savage prison. But as soon as I got to Lancaster, bro, which is like you feel the tension in the air. It was thick like smoke. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like how you explained it in a lot of videos. You know what I'm saying? I witnessed how all the people that I was in orientation with, people were calling them out like, I want him, and we're gonna teal away Chelman and this and that, you know what I'm saying? So it was very intense, very intense. I remember that one of the first things in you know how when you go on orientation in Lancaster and you gotta stand in front of the nurse,
yeah,
and she asked you questions and the CO was right there beside him. I got slapped by the damn nurse.
By the nurse?
I got slapped in my face by the nurse for not saying, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
That's crazy.
Man, listen, as soon as we got into the orientation, they lined us up in the room and they asked us one by one, what you bang? What you bang? What you bang? What you bang? At that time, I think like cutthroats was getting took up through there. You know what I'm saying? G's, they were getting took up through there. Shout out to a couple G's that I fuck with, feel me, like that nigga J Swag. You know what I'm saying? All respect. And basically, bro, like the police was basically, if like they were basically saying like to the cutthroat, like, oh, you a cutthroat? You might as well check in. You ain't gonna survive. Oh, you this? You might as well check in. You ain't gonna survive. Oh, you a king? You gonna be straight. Oh, you this? You gonna be straight. It was just like crazy, bro. And we just sitting there looking crazy in our boxers, like with our property right there. Man, Orange Hat, man, I hated that shit, man. It was just like 2 weeks of just every day marching from 6 a.m. to 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And PTing. There were marchers all around the compound, just basically humiliate us with the worst clothes that they had in laundry. You know what I'm saying? And then just basically just at any given moment, stop, you know what I'm saying? Drop down, PT, this and that. And you know what I'm saying? You know how it is. It was very intense, bro. Like, fucked up, bro.
And at some point throughout all that, you ended up getting bit by a black widow?
Yeah, man. So I get bit by a black widow and my legs sitting on 40s, you feel me? Like that been on 40s, you feel me? And like the police acting like they don't care. They want me to lead the marching. You know what I'm saying? They're like, yeah, you gonna lead and you gonna call on cadence, you feel me, and this and that. And I just one day I just couldn't take it. You know what I'm saying? I just like sat down. I was like, fuck it, y'all gonna have to beat my ass. I'm gonna have to go to the hospital. And they just ended up taking me to the back to Lake Butler at that point. So that's around the time when you was in Lake Butler. I was in Lake Butler. I was in I Block. What happened with the situation when I got cut was that I witnessed that some people were taking advantage of some Chicos. You know what I'm saying? Like some Latinos. So they were like trying to take advantage. It was a certain black dude that he was trying to like make Chicos break it off. You know what I'm saying? And then I wasn't having that. Not as long as I was good. Feel me? And then he had the advantage because he was a trustee. So he was outside, you know what I'm saying? He was outside trying to run down this and that. So I made myself like a trustee type shit. I just started coming out with the broomstick, like, man, fuck this shit. And I just started like going to all the Chicos, like, man, you ain't gotta listen to that fuck nigga, man. This what we finna do. So basically that nigga felt some type of way. He finessed another nigga and told him, man, if you want to get initiated into being a G, then you need to cut this nigga. So they came, and then while we was at Rec Yard at Lake Butler, I was in line waiting to get something from the canteen line, and I just felt like something grazed my face. When I felt something graze my face, I immediately dropped to the floor, and I looked around, and then I seen him like walking away like shit sweet. So I ran up and I crashed him, and we went to the box.
I think you got a T on your tag too, right?
Yeah, I got a T on my tag. Yes, sir.
Now, one thing about Lancaster and one thing about Tampa, anybody that knows Tampa, it's pretty much Bloods, Kings, and NPR. That's all you're gonna find in Tampa. You don't really have too many other shit. And it's usually all love, especially between the Bloods and the Kings in Tampa. I knew a lot of Kings on the street, but Lancaster wasn't like that at all, especially between the Bloods and the Kings and Tampa. How was that for you? Because at the end of the day, everyone that was from Tampa that wasn't affiliated with Blood or MPI pretty much hated Tampa. Because MPI and Bloods, it was 57 Love at the time, and we went at it with a lot of people there. How was that for you with your affiliation, and how your affiliation somewhat divided you from other groups?
It was very shocking to me because I actually knew I actually knew a lot of people from the city that I seen, and they were rocking with NPR, or they were rocking with Bloods. And when I came there, they basically, you know what I'm saying, like my brothers off Fritz told me, you know what I'm saying, hey man, you know what I'm saying, this, you know what I'm saying, we tied up with the Zoes and the Arnett's, you know what I'm saying, and it's us against the Bloods and the NPRs. And at that time, you guys had the whole B2, the whole dorm. You know what I'm saying? You guys had the whole dorm. You was either NPR or Blood or Jizzle for them. It was no gang member other than NPR or Blood in that specific dorm. And if you know about B2 is an open population dorm, very huge, anywhere from like 80 to 100 people. So it was a lot of Bloods and a lot of NPRs in that dorm. And they were being led by somebody named Trey, which I actually know really, really good. He was the head of the NPRs.
Mm-hmm. Yo, Trey was in that bit. You had a few people that was in there, but see me, because B-Dorm, for the people that don't know, B-Dorm is the biggest pretty much dorm at Lancaster. It's open bay, which means there's nothing but bunk beds, and there's no cameras in that shit. So it's going down. It's known as the Jungle Dorm. When I got there, B2 was a Blood house. It was just straight Bloods and Sevens. B1 was the Zoe house, but there was Kings in there too. But I mean, this is the thing though that was kind of funny is the Kings really ran B1, but the Zoes claimed it. The Kings didn't claim B1. But they ended up putting me inside of B1 where all the smoke was at, and I was in there with Red Light and a couple other of my brothers, but it was going the fuck down. So which dorm did you get put into first?
Wow, really, bro? Then We must have been in the same dorm, bro, because I was in B1 with Red Light around that same time when the Zoes, there was the Zoes in the dorm, and it was us two, and we had, you know what I'm saying, we had the Sureños with us, and it was just like the other side of the dorm was some Bloods and some Sevens, because they were attempting, the Bloods and the Sevens were attempting, they had already took control of B2, and they were attempting to also take control of B1. But it was that power struggle. It was that power struggle because we wasn't letting it happen. The Zoes weren't letting it happen. Honestly, I'm gonna keep it real with you, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause I know you remember what happened. Those Zoes got taken up out of there. Remember at the child hall that day when the lights turned off?
Yeah, when everybody crashed.
And then everybody crashed. That's how the Bloods and Sevens, like, you know what I'm saying? Because they took flight, because Trey sat down with us on some type of time, like, you know what I'm saying, we're not gonna take flight on y'all, we're just gonna take flight of the Zoes. And at that particular time, we was going through it. We was going through it with the Zoes, and we was breaking ties with them because we started peeping that the way that they were moving was putting our people in danger against y'all. You feel me?
Yeah.
So we kind of like fell back while y'all took them up through there. They wasn't cooperating. They was claiming that they was tied in with us, but at the same time, if we tied in, we supposed to be doing decisions together. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be making executive decisions together for the better of our people. And we felt like they wasn't trying to do that. You know what I'm saying? They were trying to, like, you know what I'm saying, have us, like, you feel me? So we just basically cut them off. As soon as we cut them off, they got real scared because there was only like 3, 4, there was only like 7 deep in the dorm. And then I remember the day, you know what I'm saying, the morning after we had cut them off, bro, like, y'all had took a flight on them at the chow hall. And it was crazy because we sat down to eat at the chow hall. We was all sitting down. Everybody had fire on them. Everybody had weapons on them. We didn't have any weapons on us. We already, you know what I'm saying, we kind of already knew a little bit what was going to happen. Next thing you know, the lights turned off because it was raining. It was crazy. It was like some movie. It turned off for like a second. Then it turned on. When it turned on, everybody was jumping tables, hitting each other with trays. You know what I'm saying? Like, people getting stabbed. Next thing you know, the police come in there, spare everybody with the mace, you feel me? Everybody, you know what I'm saying? We was on the floor like, oh shit, you feel me? Just watching the whole thing. And basically, like, when we came back, the Zoes had been decimated. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was no more Zoes in the dorm. It was us and the Arnett's.
How was it, you know, seeing all this violence? Like, because it's one thing on the street when people do what they do on the street, but being inside a B-dorm, especially nonstop, seeing people get slashed and their faces opened up, fired up, foot lockers dropped on their head, poked up. How was it for you? Were you able to adjust easily off the strength that, you know, it's like kill or be killed? Like, I know I got to do it because ain't nobody going to spare me. How was it seeing all that shit?
I feel like I got immune to it. I feel like I got immune to everything that was going on. It's just like it didn't matter to me anymore. It was just like how you said, it was like kill or be killed. Who the strongest survive. You gotta understand that the JIT count, man, it's way different than like adult count. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people in JIT count didn't have the mentality to get money or nothing like that. They were more also type of time like who controls this part of the compound, who controls this dorm, who has the most power, who flexing the most. You feel me? Like, that's what it was all about, and from my experience in JIT count, honestly. So it was just like I was always on go mode the whole 3 years that I was there. Always on go mode, like ready for whatever. You feel me? I just became immune to it, just like desensitized to it, if you would say.
One of the very first things I learned inside of prison was size does not matter. You got a lot of people that watch these YouTube channels and think that the big cocky people are the toughest ones. And I remember my first day inside of B-dorm, I seen Cruz take flight. You know what I'm saying? It was me, Cruz, and Cash. That's how I met Cruz. And, you know, rest in peace to bro. But he popped that lockout and smacked somebody with that shit, and he got the last GD took off the compound. How was it for you with your size when it came to some of the bigger inmates that were at the JIT camp or even the adult camp, because there is some big people, but the way people play in there, it's like ain't no one really fighting to begin with.
First of all, rest in peace to my brother Cruz, man. I knew him personally, you know what I'm saying? He was like my best fucking friend, like my little brother. But like back to where you were saying, like size does not matter at all whatsoever. I done seen the biggest of them fall to the littlest niggas. Feel me? Like my grandmother taught me, you know what I'm saying? The bigger they are, the harder they fall, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. When it comes to like, you know what I'm saying, we at JIT camp, they playing with locks. They time the locks, the master locks, the combination locks. Not only that, but they were popping the iron ones. The iron ones that you be on the gates.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were getting those off and using those. And they were, and what I remember from Lancaster, bro, you was a fucking lame if you was cutting a bit with a fucking razor. Like, you wasn't up to the swag, nigga, because the swag was cutting everybody with box cutters. You feel me? We was getting box cutters from carpentry, and we was slicing niggas up with box cutters, bro. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Nigga look at you with a razor, nigga might be like, what the fuck, nigga? What wrong with you? You feel me?
Yeah, them box cutters was something serious because they were really splitting people's shit, like fucking them up bad. What was the worst thing you ever seen happen to somebody, whether it's a cut, a TOH? What was the worst thing you saw at the JIT camp?
The word, it has to be between the time when we X'd out one of our brothers, that his name was Cracker Black. I don't know if you knew, he was from St. P. He had the goals in the mouth. He used to be a king. It was either between that and when Flacco died. Rest in peace to Flacco. He was trying, you know what I'm saying, the whole situation happened in B2 when he died. Yeah. I wasn't in B2 when it happened. I was in B1 when it happened. But when they took, you know how they got the hallway between B1 and B2 where you can see through the booth.
Yeah.
So I seen when Flacco was laid out and he was dead, and I seen when all the people that was involved in it, they were lined up against the wall, and they all had, you know what I'm saying, like it was one of the realest moments. You feel me?
What all happened to Cracker Black when he got X'd out?
Man, Cracker Black played by some Tucci, you know what I'm saying, by some Tucci, you know what I'm saying. We was trying to make, that's when I don't know if you know Russia, Russia?
Yeah.
Arnett. Yeah, that my nigga too, you feel me? Russia was the one that introduced the money plays to Lancaster. He was the first one that come to Lancaster with Tucci, with dope, you feel me?
You talking about the oldest brother, right? There's three of them.
He was just kind of like, you know what I'm saying, he was white, he was chunky, you know what I'm saying, he was rocking hard for the Arnetts.
You know all right, so that's the oldest Russia. The two other ones I was at Sumter with. Those are the two little brothers. But the one that you're talking about, you remember my brother Brando?
Of course.
So Brando was in confinement with Russia. I got fired up by a Zoe, and Russia got him handled. You feel me? Because Brando talked to Russia, was like, hey, bro, can you do something, off my face for my brother? Russia's like, yeah, I got that. He sent the kite out to the compound. The next day, the Zoe that got me, boop, got his ass.
Yeah, straight like that, you know what I'm saying?
Russia got shit done.
Russia got shit done. He was from my understanding, I may be wrong, but from my understanding of what was going on, he was the first one to really like bring like those type of plays. And from there it jumped off. My brother Negro, he had a jizzle that was bringing something in, and he was in the room with him, so he was controlling the sack. So he was distributing shit so we could get money. And basically, I guess he gave something to Cracker Black. He fronted him something to take care of it for me because he went to the box. And then what Cracker Black did was he smoked it up and he sold it or something like that. He did some flaw shit. So, and then basically, he got caught with it and he snitched on nigga. That's what it was. So then when we got out, we was all in the box. I remember I was in the box, Negative was in the box. It was like 3-4 of us was in the box at the time. And we was all politicking, shooting kites to each other about the whole situation, what we was finna do. You know what I'm saying? So we just all came up with the conclusion, and we just finna holler at the brother. You know what I'm saying? We just gonna holler at him, see what the fuck really going on. So it was a coincidence, bro, that when we all got out, have you ever heard of my brother Centron?
Yeah. Oh, Okay, so little Centron, right? Because he got an older brother.
Yes.
I was at
Yes.
ACI with his older brother. So his older brother, I'm talking about put that work in front of our dorm. I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. Off the top, man, it's something in their bloodline, man. They all poking shit up. They ain't even fucking on, man. That nigga Centron, you know what I'm saying? My brother, I know him from the street. Him and my little brother, they used to play basketball together. So, you know what I'm saying? We was on the box, and it was a coincidence that we all got out the box the same day. And we all went to the same dorm where Cracker Black was at. So all of a sudden, Cracker Black went from being the only king in the dorm to all of a sudden we fresh out the box, all our stuff on, you know what I'm saying? All our stuff on, all our belongings with us, and we coming right off in the dorm like, boom, putting the stuff down. Hey, Cracker Black, we gotta holler at you. Boom. Went straight to the room. And he already knew what time it was. He even got on his knees, bro. And he even got on his knees and told him, if you gonna cut me, just cut me in my face right now, you feel me? But we weren't really trying to cut him until we get, you know what I'm saying? We don't do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? We don't just cut brothers for no reason. We need to find proof. We can't just go by what other people say. We need to be able to see black and white. You know what I'm saying? So what happened was that we politicked about it, and then we ended up getting what we was looking for, the confirmation. So we ended up, okay, we're gonna TOS them. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna terminate them on site. So we try to get them. We pay somebody to go ahead and cut them on the way to Child Hall, marching. You know what I'm saying? Late night. I was like 2 people in front of the Cracker Black, so I was watching the whole situation. The jizzle came up behind him, cut him, but he poked, like he had a box cutter, but he went like this and stabbed Cracker Black in the temple with the box cutter. So he didn't cut him, he just stabbed him, so he was leaking. So when he came back, he was like, damn, y'all gonna do me like that, blah, 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 this and that. So we ended up going to like, to Rec Yard, and we was all politicking about the whole situation again, and then the jizzle felt some type of way in his little mind, and he felt like he had to redeem himself. I don't know if he felt like we was gonna take flight on him for flopping, but without our consent or nothing, he just went ahead and got the box cutter and finished the job, bro, on some crazy. Like while we was out there in Rec Yard, it was crazy, bro, because you know how big the Rec Yard was. We was in the Rec Yard huddled up, bro, and we heard a shh, and we was all like, what the fuck? And then next thing you know, you just see this nigga like, so the brothers told me to go up to him and check, see what's going on. I ran up to him and I looked at him. I'm like, damn, you feel me? That nigga, like, he had got cut from right here to right here with the box cutter. His whole face is wide open. You can see all his teeth all the way back. It was just flat open like that. And he was like, am I all right, bro? I'm like, damn, bro, you played, you feel me? And then I just walked away, and then he just passed out. It was a real bad cut, one of the worst ones I've seen.
Damn. Got his ass. Them box cutters are dead serious.
Oh yeah, they ain't playing no game. And you gotta be careful the way you do it, because now you cut yourself.
Yup. All right, y'all. So we having just a little bit of connection difficulties, but we got a fire-ass story, and we also got a lot more to come. We haven't even touched down on him going to adult prison. This has just been the youth offender prisons. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap this one up for the part 1. But if you have any shout outs, you know, anybody you want to shout out, anything you want to, you know what I'm saying, put out there, your social media, you can go ahead and do that now.
All right, 1090, man. You already know, man. I'm rocking with y'all, so y'all better rock with him. You feel me? Fought with us, or get fought over, ride with us, and get ran over. You know what I'm talking about? Shout out to my motherfucking gang. You already know, Almighty Land King Queen Nation. You feel me? Shout out to Day One. Feel me? Murder Gang. Shout out to Breezy. Shout out to all my brothers. You feel me? Free my nigga. Rest in peace, my nigga Angel. You feel me? And you already know, bro, I'll be back for a part 2, you feel me, once we get this connection right, you feel me, because they got us fucked up, man.
Definitely. And what's your Instagram? Let them know your Instagram one time, too.
My Instagram is Kenny Point Marrero, or if not, Flywave787. Fuck with me.
Got you. All right, big bro. Hey, you already know we finna run that part 2 real soon. I fuck with you, dog.
Y'all ready?